Hi there, I'm Bruce Sellery. I covered a topic on my CBC radio column today that I decided to tape a little video about because not everyone has an opportunity to listen to that column, and this is a topic that I feel hugely passionate about. It connects to a warning on debt relief scams that came today from the Office of the Superintendent of Bankruptcy, the institution that regulates licensed insolvency trustees, and its industry association, which is called CARP. And basically what they're trying to do is shine the light on an unregulated part of the market that charges consumers enormous fees that they do not have to pay. These debt relief scams are not like, the grandparent scam or other scams you may have heard of. They're also very, very tough to fight because they're not clearly illegal. The main scam, the basic scam, is that these debt advisors, these debt relief advisors, are charging you for a service that you do not need and then not providing the service you could get if you went to a reputable provider. So how it works is they play to fears people have about having a level of debt that they can't manage, and they offer a solution. Once they capture you as a lead, they ask you a bunch of questions. They may make promises to get you a better deal on debt relief, and they typically charge you a fee, sometimes in the thousands of dollars. Then they may introduce you to a licensed insolvency trustee. This wastes time because they can't actually help you with a consumer proposal or bankruptcy. Only an LIT can do that. And it wastes money because there is no need for you to pay a debt advisor a fee. They are a middleman in an area where you don't need a middleman. You need a mechanic. You do not need a mechanic advisor to charge you $2,000 to introduce you to a mechanic. You just go to a mechanic. The fees that the LITs charge are included in whatever option you were to pursue, like a consumer proposal or a bankruptcy. They're regulated. And if you don't pursue either of those options, you're not going to pay a fee. These debt relief advisors are finding most of their clients online. And I see it most in my Facebook feed because, the algorithm knows I think about and talk about debt a lot. Even for someone like me who's got a pretty trained eye, it's hard for me to determine if an ad is for an LIT, credible, regulated, for a nonprofit credit counselor like Credit Canada, credible, regulated, or from a debt advisor, not credible and not regulated. And you can just imagine how hard it would be for a young person or a newcomer to Canada to discern what they should know. The OSB, as a part of this warning, issued 5 warning signs to be aware of. So unrealistic promises or pressure to make quick decisions, asking for fees up front or claiming they can get you a better deal. LITs offer free consultations and their fees are regulated, as I said. Charging unnecessary fees disguised as referral fees. No need to pay referral fees. They tell you to stop communicating with or paying your creditors or claim that they can negotiate with them on your behalf. They can't actually negotiate for you. Finally, they may offer only online services with no option for in-person, and LITs have to provide you with an option to meet in person. In very practical terms, when I look at those ads on Facebook, the simple test for me, the starting point is, do I see a reference to the phrase licensed insolvency trustee or nonprofit credit counselor? Because the nonprofits are, of course, overseen provincially and under consumer protection laws. The OSB and CARP are working on building awareness, which is great. There was an excellent Toronto Star article on this topic in the summer. Great, but entirely insufficient. The Financial Agency, Consumer Agency of Canada, which you probably heard me talk about, it's got a dual mandate. So it's got a consumer protection side and a financial literacy side. The word protection, as defined by the dictionary, means the action of keeping safe from harm. Currently, there's not a lot of action. Like, there really isn't an effective policing mechanism in any way. And because the behavior isn't clearly illegal, like the grandparent scam would be, you can't even report it to the anti-fraud center. So not much action. There is some talk, I would say there's some talk, and I reached out to the FCAC. They got back to me immediately, and they shared the concern here. They also pointed me back to the National Financial Literacy Strategy, which, as you know, I love. I talk about it all the time. It has a point on, quote, enhancing access to trustworthy and affordable financial help. Love it. Great. Access in the dictionary is defined as a means of entering, Access is not talk. and it is not awareness. So what is the FCA actually doing to enhance access? It is unclear. You would think that given this gray area and this messy there would be a way to at least limit debt relief advisors from advertising. Google made a misguided effort to do this starting in 2019, and they basically banned all advertising of debt relief. Then they made an exception for the licensed insolvency trustees, which, as they should, that was the right thing to do. They didn't make an exception for nonprofit credit counselors. Nonprofit credit counselors cannot advertise debt relief on Google in Canada. They can in the US, in the UK, in other parts of the world, but because it's Canada, they cannot advertise here. And if you think about this in a legal context for a second, it would be like saying for-profit law firms can advertise, but nonprofit legal aid clinics cannot advertise. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, you may have heard of this search engine. It could be used to find out everything there is to know about these nonprofit agencies. There are under 10 of them. There's not a lot of them. And in about a day, Google could do the due diligence on the provincial consumer protection. They are not willing to do that. They have not done that. They are not willing to do that. They send their policy people to meetings. They send their lawyers to meetings. They respond to letters from members of parliament, but they will not do anything. And so what we need is the government's help to convince Google to change its policy. That's what we need. Minister Freeland, hello, it's Bruce Sellery here. Minister Champagne, hello, Bruce Sellery. We need your help. We really need your help here. And we need the government's help to give the FCAC more power to actually deliver on its mandate to, quote, protect the rights and interests of consumers. I am an optimist, an eternal optimist, and I think change is afoot. I never carry an umbrella because in my world, it does not rain. And so I think the changes are ahead. It's going to come, that Google will change its mind and there will be more integrated interventions on this debt relief stuff. In the interim, we'll come back to the warning from the OSB and from CARP, not to get sucked into a debt relief scam.